Greetings. My name is Abdullah, and I'm your teacher for Advanced English from New York City. On this channel, inshallah, we move advanced speakers of English from their current level to the level of native or near native, inshallah. Likewise, the purpose of this channel is to help those improve their pronunciation and their accent in English. We use mostly newspapers from the UK and from the US in order to achieve this. Today's article is very interesting. The title is British Parrot Missing for 4 Years Returns Speaking Spanish. And this comes to us from telegraph.co.uk. In here we see a picture of the type of bird. A pet parrot that spoke with a British accent when it disappeared from its home 4 years ago has been reunited with its owner, and the bird now speaks Spanish. The reunion was brought about by a Southern California vet who mistook Nigel, an African gray parrot, for her own missing bird. This is a great way of moving your language from an advanced level to a native level with this word mistook. Mistook means to misunderstand, to interpret or evaluate wrongly. So let's look at an example sentence. Abdurrahim mistook it for a puppy, but when it grew up, it was really a wolf. Another example. He took it for headache medicine, but he found out later it was really a laxative. Another example. He mistook the directions on a GPS and made a wrong turn, and then he found himself in a bad part of the city. So again, mistook means to understand or interpret or evaluate wrongly, to basically misunderstand. Teresa Miko tracked Nigel's microchip to Darren Chick, a Briton who lives in Torrance. I introduced myself and said, "Have you lost a bird?" Miko told the newspaper. He initially said no, but he thought I meant recently. Let's take a moment to learn this word initially. Initially means something happening first, or at the start, or at the beginning. For example, the smartphone company only initially offered two colors, white and silver. Another example, initially, this area had no trees, but 30 years have passed and it has now become a dense forest. One more example. The family may be able to buy a bigger apartment than they thought initially. So again, initially means something in the beginning, at the start. When she verified Chick's name and said she had his African gray parrot, he looked at me like I was crazy. He said his bird went missing 4 years earlier. Little is known about Nigel's whereabouts the past 4 years, but Chick says the bird's British accent is gone and it now chatters in Spanish. That's actually very interesting. We have to talk about this word chatter. Chatter is different than the word chat. Chatter here means words that you hear that are spoken quickly and in a way that you really may not understand. For example, sitting in a lecture hall, you can hear the chatter of other students. Likewise, people talking on walkie-talkies. You can hear the chatter, but it may not be words that you understand. Or if you're walking through a busy shopping area, you can hear the chatter of other people doing shopping, but you may not understand exactly what they are saying. So again, chatter means words that you hear that are spoken quickly in a way that you don't understand. Chick says last week's reunion brought tears of joy to his eyes, despite the fact that Nigel bit him when he first tried to pick him up. I am often asked, teacher, what is the meaning of despite? Inshallah, I will try my best to explain it for you here. Despite means something does not have an effect. So, for example, he is a great leader despite his old age, meaning he's an old man, but that does not affect his wisdom. Despite his old age, he is a great leader. Another example, despite her fear of the spider monster, she still killed it. Another example, despite being really tired, she could not go to sleep. So again, despite means something without an effect. It does not have an effect. Miko said the behavior was not unusual and that Nigel would settle back in soon enough. He's doing perfect, Chick told the newspaper by the week's end. It's really weird. I knew it was him from the minute I saw him. It's the 5th parrot reunion facilitated by Miko, who has been running ads for her own missing bird for 9 months. That parrot, Benjamin, flew the coop in February when it darted out a door that was left open. Flew the coop is an English idiom, meaning you may not understand the words if you look them up in a dictionary. First, let's talk about the word coop. A coop is a small cage used usually for chickens. So flew the coop means to leave suddenly or secretly. In other words, to escape. So for example, during the prison riot back in 2019, convict number 1063477, for example, flew the coop, and authorities are still looking for him today. Another example, Samantha didn't feel comfortable at the party, so at her first opportunity, she flew the coop. One more example. Before the Civil War reached the family, they flew the coop to a neighboring country. Again, flew the coop means to leave suddenly or secretly, in other words, to escape. Julissa Sperling found Nigel outside her home and brought him to Miko after seeing one of her ads. But first, she took Nigel to her dog grooming business. He was the happiest bird. He was singing and talking without control, Sperling said. He was barking like the dogs. I'm from Panama, and he was saying what happened in Spanish. Back in April, a crime-fighting parrot has saved his owner after she was pushed to the ground in a park. The female victim had been taking Wunzi, the African gray, for a walk and fly in Sunny Hill Park, North London, on Friday, when she was grabbed by the shoulders and shoved. The parrot, who is taken to the park daily in a harness and lead, flapped his wings and squawked, causing the attacker to flee. The word harness in this sentence is something that is placed on an animal in order to control it. So, for example, if you look at this horse, you would notice that it has something placed on its shoulders and its chest. That is called a harness. But I want to give you a more advanced way of using the word harness. It will be an English expression. Harness the power means to bring something under your control and use it to your advantage. For example, you can harness the power of an atom, or you can harness the power of the sun, or you can harness the power of wind. I want for you, inshallah, to harness the power of this channel, wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah, harness the power of this channel, inshallah, and use it to your advantage by clicking subscribe and clicking like. This article was indeed quite interesting. Now it is time for your part, your homework. Your homework is reread this article. Reread this article as I read it to you. And like this, inshallah, daily, bit by bit, you will improve bi'idhnillah. Likewise, practice the vocabulary that I have taught you in this article. Practice it with friends, practice it with family. Inshallah, I will see all of you in the next video. I wish for myself and yourself the best in this life and the next. Fi aman ar-Rahman.